Hello and welcome again. Thank you for joining me for another lesson. Today we're going to discuss about physical activity or exercise. We all know this. Physical activity is essential for good health. Physical activity can be defined as body movements produced by the contraction of muscles that increases energy consumption. The lack of exercises is one of the most important changeable risk factors for global mortality. It is estimated that if you are sedentary, your risk of death goes up by 20 to 30% compared to those that are physically active. When we think about exercise, we often think that it has to be hard or painful and not fun. We believe we need to go to the gym or start running in order to get the health benefits, but that is simply not true. Most people, when they start exercising, they tend to overcompensate for their lack of activity by hitting the gym hard one day or running more than they should or basically overdoing any type of physical activity. Then they spend the next few days being miserable and in pain, and as a result, they get discouraged and quit. And I know this very well because I was one of those people. I grew up with the saying, no pain, no gain. I said this in previous lessons. The frequency is more important than the intensity. Now, I can't stress this enough. If you want to be more active, you need to choose an activity that you like. Running, walking, swimming, playing football, playing tennis, dancing, gardening, or heck, even playing on Kinect. There are lots of games that can keep you physically active. Zumba, hula hoops, tennis, and so on. If you are using a range of movements, you contract your muscles and you increase your heart rate, you are good to go. That is physical activity. I mean, sure, you won't be competing in any performance sports anytime soon, but it gets you moving. And that is the most important thing. Once you start moving, you can work your way up. What we want to see is a snowballing effect. If you are physically inactive, you need to start with baby steps. Let's take, for example, the push-ups or sit-ups or any other exercise. If your absolute maximum amount of repetitions is 10, basically you can't do more than that even if I threaten you with a gun. I want you to start with 5 repetitions. You need to do enough so it is not boring. It stimulates you, but not to the point of being in distress. Next day again, do 5 repetitions. Next day again, 5 repetitions. When 5 repetitions becomes too easy to the point that they don't stimulate you, then you can increase to 6 or 7 repetitions and continue for the next few days. When 6 or 7 repetitions becomes too easy, then you can increase again and work your way up. Next, we're going to look at some of the benefits of physical activity. The most obvious one is burning more calories. Exercise increases the amount of energy you consume. So in theory, this should result in weight loss, but obviously this will depend on your total calorie intake. Burning calories, however, shouldn't be your main reason for wanting to exercise. Physical activity only counts between 10 and 20% of your total calories burned. Another benefit of physical activity is strength. Muscular strength will help in maintaining the mobility of your joints, and it can also help you improve your posture, which can deteriorate with a sedentary lifestyle. Another benefit is protection against osteoporosis. Bones, just like the muscles, they respond to stress by becoming bigger and stronger. Physical activity puts some stress on the body, and this in turn will stimulate the bone growth, and at the same time it will preserve the bone mass and density. And my favorite benefit of physical activity is increased insulin sensitivity and reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. We all know that in type 2 diabetes there is too much glucose in the bloodstream. Now, early in exercise, glycogen or the glucose stored in the muscles, they provide the fuel for the working muscles. But as the glycogen stores run low, the muscles increase their uptake of glucose and they start using glucose from your bloodstream, along with the free fatty acids released from the fat tissue. There are two ways the glucose enters the muscles. One is insulin dependent and the other one is not. When we are at rest and after a meal, the glucose uptake by the muscle is insulin dependent and serves primarily to replenish the glycogen stores. If your glycogen stores are full, the glucose remains in the blood to be used by other organs like heart and brain. And what doesn't get used gets converted into fat. During exercise, however, the muscles start using circulating glucose from the bloodstream. And to do that, the muscle uses a glucose transporter called GLUT4. Now, because these two pathways are different, the glucose uptake from the blood and into the working muscles is active even when the insulin is not working properly, like in the case of type 2 diabetes. But not only that, but regular physical activity improves the action of insulin. This is an important reason why people with diabetes should start exercising. Another benefit of physical activity is improved cardiovascular health. Now, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death worldwide. Regular physical activity can improve cardiovascular function by decreasing resting heart rate, decreasing blood pressure, improving myocardial perfusion, and increasing the levels of good cholesterol or HDL. Studies have shown that exercise can improve metabolic and cardiovascular health regardless of changes in body weight. Another important benefit the exercise has is psychological well-being. Physical activity has a positive effect on our mood. It makes us calmer, more alert, and more energetic. Research has shown that physical activity is very effective at improving symptoms of depression and anxiety. Now, depression and anxiety can be the cause of a sedentary life in the first place. So it is important that you get out from this vicious cycle and start exercising regularly. Physical activity is also very important for stress management. It helps dissipate the cortisol accumulated during the day, and it can improve your sleep as well. Physical activity has also protective effects on the brain. Exercise changes the brain in a way that it protects our memory and thinking skills. Exercise promotes the growth of new brain cells in the prefrontal cortex. It improves the neuroplasticity, or the ability to create new pathways and to make new connections between neurons. It also improves the function of the synapses, which allows the neurons to communicate better and faster. As we can see, physical activity has many benefits, and they are free and everybody can have them. So let's get moving. Next, we have some exercise facts. No exercise can target fat loss on specific parts of the body. The only way to lose fat is by consuming less calories than you are burning. Yes, exercise can be fun and it doesn't have to be painful. Exercise doesn't transform your fat into muscles or vice versa. They are two different types of cells. If you exercise regularly but don't see results on the scales, don't get discouraged. As you exercise, your muscles will grow, and muscles weigh more than fat because of the water content and the glycogen stores. Don't rely on machines and smart watches to tell you how many calories you have burned, because most of them are inaccurate. Don't think that sweat equals fat loss. Sweating only means that your body is trying to cool itself. Sport drinks are not a healthy drink. They are full of sugar. And this concludes our lesson for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time.